Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome back to The Explainer. We're taking some seriously fascinating source material today and breaking it down so you can learn it quickly and effectively. We're unpacking something the source actually describes as both an everyday weapon and your personal armor. We're talking about 5 dark psychology tricks that can literally control anyone.
The source drops this massive, almost crazy question right out of the gate. What if you could control anyone? Like your boss, your best friend, or even just some complete stranger on the street? Now, I know, it sounds like something straight out of a comic book villain's playbook, right? But the really fascinating premise here is that this isn't magic at all. It is actually rooted in the absolute darkest parts of human psychology, basically leveraging our own hardwired instincts completely against us. And make no mistake, these exact tactics are actively used by powerful people every single day to navigate the world and get exactly what they want.
Section 1. The Code of Control. These 5 tactics act as a hidden code to human behavior that you absolutely must learn to see through.
Which brings us to Section 2, trick number 5, the illusion of choice. Let's get into it.
Think about it. Human beings fiercely protect their independence, right? If you just ask someone a direct question, like, hey, want to go out? Their knee-jerk reflex is usually to say no, just to maintain their own autonomy. They desperately want to maintain control. And this brilliantly illustrates the workaround. Instead of a yes or no, you ask, should we hit Pizza Hut or Domino's? Boom! You completely bypass their defenses. You give them a choice where both options lead to your outcome, effectively building the box that they unknowingly pick from. They feel totally in control, but the reality, you've already made the ultimate decision for them.
And you really need to recognize this, because this illusion is a tactic wielded constantly in the real world. I mean, just look at who uses it. Major brands, politicians, top corporate leaders. They all use this exact framework to gently guide your decisions while making you feel like you're sitting entirely in the driver's seat. Recognizing this tactic, that is your vital real-world armor.
All right, moving to Section 3, trick number 4, climbing the yes ladder. So, if you need to get someone to say yes to a massive, really difficult request, the fundamental rule is that you can never, ever start big. You gotta build up to it. Let's walk through this specific workplace narrative from the source material. Step 1, you ask your boss, hey, can I join the next client meeting just to learn? They say yes. Step 2, can I handle a small part of this project? Yes. Step 3, can I attend the leadership workshop? Yes. You see what's happening? You are strategically securing 3 small yeses to literally condition your boss's brain. So by step 4, when you finally ask for that big promotion, their brain is already completely accustomed to agreeing with you. And this is where the psychological trap snaps shut, right at the top of the ladder. Because they've been conditioned by those small steps, the target suddenly feels that breaking the pattern of agreement is entirely unnatural. Saying no now creates this uncomfortable cognitive friction, making them highly likely to just follow the pattern and give you that final, massive yes.
Okay, Section 4, trick number 3, the guilt trap.
We have to establish a foundational rule here. People are driven far more by their emotions than by logic. So the crucial point is really perfectly captured in this car borrowing scenario. Imagine you want to borrow a friend's car. If you just ask logically, their brain kicks in, right? They start analyzing risks, checking insurance, thinking about their busy schedule. But by framing it like this, hey man, remember when I lent you that $200 last month? Look, I just need a small favor. You instantly bypass their critical thinking. And that is the exact mechanic of the guilt trap. It's an emotional trigger designed to completely override logical thought, forcing immediate action based entirely on a feeling. The target's brain isn't analyzing the car loan anymore. It's just feeling the immense, sudden weight of guilt from that past favor. And just like that, the keys to the car are right in your hand. How crazy is that? Section 5, trick number 2, false memory planting. This one is genuinely alarming.
You see, our brains love a compelling story so much that eventually they will accept completely fake narratives as absolute truth. The political arena is a prime example of this. You might hear massive claims like, we lifted 70% of people out of poverty, or we created 5,000 jobs in the worst economy. Now, impartially speaking, just looking at what the source lays out, politicians across the entire political spectrum use made-up or highly exaggerated statistics to build a compelling reality. Even if the data is entirely fake, if the story is good, it works.
But how does a blatant lie actually transform into a false memory? Well, the source lays out a very clear formula. It requires high emotion, specific detail, and constant repetition.
When a fabricated claim is delivered with deep passion, layered with very precise-sounding numbers, and repeated endlessly on every screen you own, people's minds will literally build false memories around those claims. And ultimately, those manufactured memories are what citizens actually end up voting on.
Section 6. Trick number 1. The power of silence.
To understand why this works, you really have to appreciate the immense, almost suffocating tension that silence creates between two people. Picture an intense interrogation. You look someone directly in the eye, you state calmly, "I know everything." And then you just shut up. You let the silence hang in the air. The internal pressure builds so rapidly that most people simply cannot handle it. They will start talking, often confessing things they really shouldn't, just to break the quiet.
And it works identically in the business world. Imagine you're in a tense negotiation. You state clearly, the 30% discount will apply, and then you just wait in total silence. The source points out that the other person will very often agree to your terms simply to escape the agonizing nervous tension in the room.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the actual mechanic at play here. By not speaking, not reacting, and just waiting, you are starving the other person of conversational feedback. Silence makes human beings incredibly nervous. It forces their brain to scramble and start filling in the blanks themselves, which ultimately hands you absolute control over the dynamic.
We wrap up today's explainer with this critical definition of the code. The source establishes a very strict ethical boundary for how these tools are classified. These tricks are not magic spells. They are simply human nature flipped against itself. They are mechanisms meant to influence others smoothly or to defend yourself from those trying to manipulate you, but they are never meant to harm. Once you understand how people think, you hold the code to how they act. Use it wisely.
Which leaves us with this ultimate, provocative question to ponder. You hold the code. Now that you can see the matrix of how brands, leaders, and everyday people manipulate psychology, how will you wield your newfound psychological armor? Will you use it to influence the world around you, or strictly to defend yourself? Thanks for diving into this with me. Keep learning, stay focused, and I'll catch you on the next explainer.